Greetings, and welcome to Peaceful Place, your hidden haven for holistic wellness. This is a space where mindful rituals, empowering practices, and deep self-connection are at the heart of everything we do. Here, we focus on creating space for habits that don't just elevate your day, but transform the way you move through life, helping you feel more aligned, grounded, and at ease. Have you ever felt the weight of expectation? The stress of needing things to go a certain way? The fear of losing what you've held onto so tightly? We all have. And that's why today's journey is so important. We are exploring something that has been honored by mystics, sages, and seekers for centuries, non-attachment, but not as a distant, unreachable ideal. Instead, as something real, something practical, something you can cultivate within yourself. Because true freedom isn't found in control, it's found in letting go. So take a deep breath, settle in, and allow yourself to receive. Let's begin.
Non-attachment is often misunderstood. Many hear the word and think it means detachment, indifference, or apathy. But true non-attachment is not the absence of feeling. It is not coldness. It is not avoidance. It is liberation. It is the freedom to love without possession, to strive without obsession, to act without demanding a particular result. It is the way of the mystic, the sage, the one who walks lightly upon the earth, fully present, yet unchained by expectation. Why does this matter? Because attachment is the seed of suffering. The tighter we hold onto expectations, the greater the pain when reality unfolds in its own way. We suffer not because things change, but because we resist change. And so, the path to peace is not in fighting the river, but in flowing with it, to accept, to allow, to release. This is the way of non-attachment. In this session, we will journey together. We will explore why attachment creates suffering. We will uncover the wisdom of the ancients, Stoicism, Buddhism, Vedanta, and most importantly, we will learn how to shift our mindset and practice the art of non-attachment in daily life. If you are ready to unburden your heart, if you are ready to find peace in the present moment, then come, let us continue. We enter this world with open hands, empty, free. Yet, as we move through life, we begin to gather ideas, identities, desires. We collect expectations like stones, placing them in the pockets of our being. And without realizing, we grow heavy. We believe that if we hold on tightly enough, life will move according to our will. That if we shape our future just right, fulfillment will be certain. And yet, it is not certainty we find, but resistance. It is not peace we gain, but weight. What are you holding on to? What expectations have you made a part of yourself? And what would it feel like to let go? Attachment is not always seen. It does not announce itself. It moves in whispers, in silent expectations, in the unspoken promises we make to ourselves and the world. We attach to people, believing their presence will complete us. We expect them to stay, to love in a way that never shifts, and when change inevitably comes, we grieve not only their absence, but the parts of ourselves we tied to them. We attach to identity, the titles, the roles, the external markers of success. We believe that who we are is something fixed, something measured by achievement, by recognition, by doing. And yet, the more we cling, the more fragile we become. A single shift, a single misstep, and the illusion trembles. And then there are the silent attachments, the someday dreams, the unwritten scripts we expect life to follow. We say, I will be happy when I have this, when I reach that, when everything aligns just as I imagined. But what happens when the when never comes, or when it arrives and still feels empty. Why do we hold so tightly? Why do we resist the ebb and flow of life? At the core of attachment lies something deeper, a longing, a desire for certainty, for permanence, for control over what is beyond our grasp. We fear that if we do not hold on, we will lose something essential, our sense of self, our direction, our meaning. We believe that by shaping the world around us, we can protect ourselves from disappointment, from impermanence, from change. But control is an illusion. The river does not cling to the rocks it passes. The wind does not resist the shifting tides. And yet they remain whole, unburdened, free. What if you too could flow? What if you could move through life unshaken by the waves of change, unattached to the outcome, yet fully immersed in the experience? We carry expectations like stones in a bag, collecting them over time. The more we gather, the heavier we become. We expect the world to be a certain way, people to act according to our wishes, our lives to unfold in a perfect, predictable path. But the world does not bend to our will. People change, paths diverge, and what we once thought was solid shifts beneath our feet. And so we find ourselves at a choice point. Do we continue carrying the weight of what was, what could have been, what should be? Or do we place the stones down, one by one, and learn to walk lightly again? To release expectation is not to stop caring. It is to free ourselves from the chains of what must be, and instead embrace what is, fully, completely, with an open heart. There is an ancient truth whispered across centuries by sages, monks, and mystics. The tighter we hold onto life, the more it slips through our fingers. But the moment we release, truly release, we make space for something greater, for peace, for acceptance, for joy untethered to condition or outcome. If we tie our fulfillment to a single expectation, we place our well-being in something fleeting. But if we learn to be present, to embrace the moment without demand, we free ourselves. This is the path of non-attachment. This is the way of true freedom. And so, we ask, how do we begin? How do we unlearn the habit of holding on? How do we step into a life where we act with presence, without being bound by expectation? In the next segment, we will turn to the wisdom of the ancients, Stoicism, Buddhism, Vedanta, to guide us on the art of surrendering attachment and walking the path of inner liberation. For centuries, seekers of truth have explored the nature of attachment. They have observed the mind's longing to control, its resistance to change, and the suffering that arises when we hold on to what is meant to flow. But among them, there were those who discovered another way. They taught that liberation does not come from acquiring more, nor from clinging tighter, but from surrendering to the moment, to the unfolding of life, to the wisdom of letting go. From the Stoics to the Buddhists to the Vedantic sages, this truth has echoed through time. True peace is found not in what we hold, but in what we release. The Stoics were practical philosophers. They did not seek escape from the world, nor did they wish to be ruled by it. Instead, they studied the art of control, understanding what was truly theirs to govern and what was beyond their grasp. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic thinker, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic teachers, put it even more simply, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." To the Stoics, attachment is not just about clinging to possessions or people. It is the futile attempt to control the uncontrollable. They understood that the more we fixate on shaping the world to our desires, the more we suffer. And so they cultivated a practice, one of radical acceptance, of focusing only on what is within one's power, their actions, their responses, their character, Everything else, fame, fortune, the opinions of others, was to be met with grace, but never obsession. Ask yourself, what have you been trying to control that was never yours to hold? Can you, like the Stoics, release your grip on what is beyond you, and instead master the only thing that truly belongs to you, your own mind? While the Stoics sought wisdom in control, the Buddhists sought wisdom in surrender. The Buddha, upon his awakening, came to a single, profound realization. Attachment is the root of all suffering. We suffer not because the world is imperfect, but because we wish it to be otherwise. We suffer because we grasp at what is fleeting, because we try to anchor ourselves in a river that is always moving. There is a story of a Buddhist monk who was traveling with his disciple. As they walked along a riverbank, they came upon a woman struggling to cross. The river was strong, the currents unforgiving. Without hesitation, the monk lifted the woman onto his back and carried her across. Once they reached the other side, she thanked him and went on her way. But as they continued their journey, the disciple grew troubled. After some time, he turned to his teacher and said, "Master, why did you carry that woman? We monks are not supposed to touch women." The monk smiled and replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her? This is the way of attachment. We hold on to things long after they have passed. We carry burdens that were never ours to keep. But when we learn to let go, to release the past, to embrace the present, we find that the weight disappears." What have you been carrying that no longer serves you? What would happen if you too set it down? In the ancient teachings of Vedanta, there is a path known as karma yoga, the yoga of action. It is a way of moving through the world with complete presence, fully engaged, yet unattached to the outcome of one's efforts. The Bhagavad Gita, one of the most revered spiritual texts of India, offers this teaching. You have the right to your actions, but never to the fruits of those actions. To many, this may seem strange. How can we act without attachment? How can we work, create, love, and strive, yet not be bound by the result? But consider the river. It flows effortlessly, not because it seeks a destination, but because it simply follows its nature. The tree offers shade, not because it expects gratitude, but because it simply is. This is the way of karma yoga, to give, to serve, to act, not because we demand a particular outcome, but because it is an expression of our highest self. What would happen if you lived in this way? If you worked not for recognition, but for the joy of effort? If you loved not for what you receive, but for the purity of love itself? In letting go of the results, you free yourself to be fully present in the experience. The Stoics teach us to focus only on what is within our control. The Buddhists remind us that suffering arises when we resist what is. The Vedantic masters show us how to act without attachment to the outcome. And so, the way forward becomes clear. To live with open hands, to walk lightly upon this earth, to embrace each moment fully, without demand, without resistance, without fear. This is the art of non-attachment, not as an idea, but as a way of being. And yet, knowledge alone does not create transformation. It is in practice, in experience, that we truly change. In the next segment, we will explore how to cultivate non-attachment in our own lives, not as a distant philosophy, but as a living practice, a way of moving through the world with freedom, presence, and ease. Non-attachment is not the absence of care. It is not resignation. It is not passivity. It is the quiet strength of knowing that you are more than the outcome. It is the freedom of placing your energy into the present moment, fully and completely, without grasping at what may come. And so, to walk this path, we begin with a shift. not in what we do, but in how we see. The world teaches us to attach. From an early age, we are conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to results, to achievements, to validation, to certainty. But what if we measured our lives differently? What if instead of clinging to results, we simply showed up fully, intentionally, and with an open heart? 2 mantras for non-attachment. I'll do my best and let go of the rest. To give your all without expectation. To know that effort is enough, that intention is enough. To act with sincerity and then surrender to the flow of life. The outcome doesn't define me, my effort does. You are not what happens to you. You are not the missed opportunity, the unexpected detour, the thing that didn't go as planned. You are the presence you bring, the care you give, the way you show up. The rest is not yours to carry. Let these words settle in your mind. Let them become part of the way you move through the world. Understanding non-attachment is one thing, living it is another. True change is not found in a single moment of realization, but in daily practice, in the small intentional ways we unburden ourselves and create space for peace. 1. Mindfulness and meditation, staying present. The mind clings to the future, to the past. It tries to shape what has not yet come or hold on to what has already gone. But in doing so, it misses the only place life truly happens, here, now. Mindfulness is the practice of coming back, of grounding yourself in the breath, the body, the sensation of this very moment. Each time you notice yourself worrying about what could be, pause, feel your breath, feel your feet on the earth. Remind yourself this moment is enough. 2. Detachment rituals, releasing expectations. Some attachments are unseen, others can be placed down, made tangible, released with intention. Try this. When you find yourself holding on to an expectation of how someone should act, of how something should unfold, write it down. Let your thoughts spill onto the page. Then, when you are ready, burn it, tear it, release it to the wind. Watch as it disappears, knowing that it was never yours to control. With each release, you lighten your spirit. With each surrender, you free yourself to move forward, unburdened, open, at peace. 3. Breathwork, the art of letting go. The breath is a teacher. It teaches us the rhythm of holding on and letting go, the dance of taking in and releasing. Try this simple breath practice. Inhale deeply, hold for a moment, and then exhale slowly, imagining that with each breath out, you are letting go of something you no longer need. Do this 3 times. Feel the lightness return to your body. Feel the space you are creating within yourself. Each breath is a reminder, you are not meant to hold everything, you are meant to flow. 4. Gratitude, focusing on the process, not the result. Gratitude shifts the gaze. Instead of focusing on what is missing, it turns our attention to what is already here. Instead of longing for what could be, it helps us appreciate what is. Each day, take a moment to reflect, not on what you have achieved, but on what you have experienced, the small joys, the lessons learned, the way you have grown, even when things did not go as planned. This is the way of non-attachment, to find fulfillment, not in reaching a destination, but in the journey itself. Mini guided practice, a visualization for releasing attachment. For a moment, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast open sky. In your hands, you hold a small stone. This stone represents something you have been holding on to, an expectation, a fear, a desire that feels heavy in your heart. Feel its weight, acknowledge it, and then, when you are ready, release it. Watch as it falls, disappearing into the earth, returning to the flow of life where it belongs. As you let go, feel the lightness in your being, the space that has opened within you, the freedom that comes not from grasping, but from allowing. Stay in this space for a moment, breathe it in, and when you are ready, return. Non-attachment is not an idea, it is a practice, a way of seeing, a way of being, a way of moving through life with grace. Each day, we are given a choice to hold tightly or to trust, to resist or to allow, to fear change or to embrace the beauty of impermanence. The path of non-attachment is not about losing yourself. It is about becoming free, free to love without possession, free to strive without obsession, free to live without the weight of expectation. And so, we invite you to take these practices into your day, to walk lightly, to breathe deeply, and to trust that in letting go, you make space for something greater. In the final section, we will reflect on what it means to embody this wisdom fully, to integrate non-attachment into the fabric of daily life, and to step into a way of being that is truly free.
And so we arrive at the closing of this journey. But perhaps it is only the beginning. Non-attachment is not about walking away. It is not about caring less. It is about learning to hold life with open hands, trusting that what is meant for you will stay, and what is meant to pass will leave, both equally part of the dance of existence. It doesn't mean giving up. It means giving yourself peace. When we release the need to control, we make space for something greater. When we stop clinging to the way things should be, we open ourselves to the beauty of what is. This is the path of non-attachment, not as an escape, but as an embrace. A surrender not to loss, but to the wisdom of flow. Now, we invite you to reflect. What is something you are ready to release? A thought, a fear, an expectation that no longer serves you? Share it in the comments below. Speak it into existence. Make the act of letting go real. And if this message has resonated with you, if you are ready to continue the journey of mindfulness, presence, and deep self-connection, subscribe. Here, we explore the art of living lightly, moving through life with grace, and cultivating a sense of inner peace that is not dependent on circumstances, but rooted in something deeper. For those who wish to take this practice further, we have prepared a free worksheet to help you integrate these teachings into your daily life. You'll find the link in the description below. As you step back into your day, remember, life is not meant to be held too tightly. The river flows, the wind moves, the earth shifts, and you too are meant to move with it. Thank you for being here, for listening, for allowing yourself to receive. Until next time, walk lightly, breathe deeply, and trust the unfolding.